first exercise is to try and connect to the public instance, and from there to be able to connect to the private instance. Because if you look at from here, there is no way we would be able to connect to the private instance because it does not have a public IP in first place. So from my desktop, for example, I will not be able to connect to this instance at all. The only way for me to be able to connect to this is to first connect to the public subnet, come in here, and access the private instance from the public instance. I'm just trying to find the key pair file. Okay, so that's in there. Okay, so we need to know the public IP. So step one, I'm going to connect to the public instance. I'm going to log in SSH into the public instance. So for that, I need the public IP address and the key pair file. So I've got the public IP. Let's go to PuTTY, data. To user. So this is the key pair. We had it last session. Hopefully it should work. Let's see. Okay, cool. So we are into our public instance now. So this is where we are here. And the next step is to be able to connect from here to here. Can someone tell me what do we need for that to be able to access this? Okay, so we need to check whether we have a route from here to instance B, right?
Yeah.
Can we quickly check that? Let's see, VPC. So we have 3 route tables, right? So we have a private route table. So that is the route table here. So this route table need to know if there is a local traffic of this CIDR, then it has to forward internally. Let's quickly see what's the routes. I think we already have that here. Yeah? Right. Apart from this, what do we need to connect to an instance? I just now used something. So we need the key pair, right?
Yeah.
So I have the key pair here in my desktop somewhere, but I need to use that from here to be able to connect here. So I'm here right now. So actively, I'm currently on this instance, sitting on this instance. So now I need to get that key pair file from here to here. Normally, you would use something like an SAP file transfer to transfer the key pair file from wherever you download it to the place where you're going to use it, in this case here. But for the ease of exercises, I'm just going to take a shortcut. So I'm going to open the downloaded file. So this is the private instance KP file, right? So this is the key pair file that we downloaded, and I'm going to open it. So this is how the key looks like normally. So I'm going to copy that. Don't need them anymore. So go here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a small file and save the key pair file here, and then use the key pair file to SSH into this. It's a shortcut, not really recommended, because you are actually saving the credential on an instance, which is completely against all the security practices, but just for the ease of usage. .pem. So let's paste what we copied. Control X. And then S. Okay, so we've got that file there, and we have to treat the PEM file slightly differently, because depending upon which client and what connectivity method, previously you saw me downloading the file onto the Windows machine, and then I converted the PEM file to PK file using the PuTTY generator. and then used the PuTTY to able to connect to the instance and use the converted file to be able to authenticate. But in Linux, Unix instances and Ubuntu, it's slightly different. We have to make sure the file has appropriate permission. So there is a command called chmod or chmod, depends on how we want to say. Okay, so that should give the required permissions to be able to use that file. So the last bit is now we need to connect from here to here using the SSH. SSH EC2. So this is the command you need to use from the command CLI interface. So we need to know the IP address of the private subnet. Let's get the running instances, private instance. So it will not have a public IP. So it only have a private IP. Let's copy that. So SSH EC2-user. Let's paste the IP address. And then we need to refer the key file. Fingerprint, yes. Bingo. So we are here on the private instance. So what we have done is we have logged in to the public instance through SSH. Then we accessed the required key pair files, and then we connected to the private instance through SSH from the public instance, because we will not be able to access it directly. So this is this way of traffic. So we accessed from the internet through the public subnet to an instance on the private subnet. So normally you would have something called as parameter store, where you actually have these keys stored and programmatically refer to them. So that's the best practice, really. Parameter store, that's an AWS managed service. So you can call them through programmatically, API, CLI access.
Right, okay.
So nobody will see your parameter. It's like CyberArk, you save the password, right? So nobody sees that.
What if we don't have any public subnet? Let's say we have all private subnet.
Mm-hmm.
Then how we will be able to connect?
So that's a more custom network configuration. So ours is a very simple exercise. So I think more to your question, where you'd have a separate DMC segregated network, where you have the public infrastructure, like your load balancers, web servers, and other type of stuff.
Okay.
So that would control the traffic of what comes in. So behind that, there would be something like a NAT gateway or more specialized. If it is really complex, then you have more complex products that would control the traffic that comes in.
Okay.
So you have a firewall in front of the DMC that filters, that acts as your first line of defense, and then further line, you have various products to control the traffic.